Developing tonight, new fallout from controversial remarks that President Obama shared with Rolling Stone magazine. In a wide-ranging sit-down, Mr. Obama talked about his legacy, the president-elect, and what happened with the election. When he was specifically pressed on the Democrats' shellacking, the president said it was not his policies or his party. Instead, he blamed Fox News. Still, it isn't getting old for him, apparently. Apparently, according to him, Fox News is the leading reason that the Democrat Party now holds a smaller congressional minority than any time since 1929. If this sounds familiar, it should. And Howie Kurtz explains why.
For 8 long years, President Obama has often seemed to have one network on his mind.
Look, if I watched Fox News, I wouldn't vote for me either, right?
Now he's taking a parting swipe at Fox, lamenting why white working-class voters turned out heavily for Donald Trump. He told a sympathetic publisher, Rolling Stone's Jan Wenner, part of it is Fox News in every bar and restaurant in big chunks of the country. But part of it is also Democrats not working at a grassroots level. Obama did partially blame his own party, but here's what's striking. The president has the world's biggest bully pulpit, but he often portrays Fox as all but drowning him out.
First of all, I've got one television station that is entirely devoted to attacking my administration. I mean, that's a pretty...
I assume you're talking about Fox.
Well, that's a pretty big megaphone.
That view, promoted by former communications director Anita Dunn, who once told me Fox was a wing of the Republican Party, made no distinction between the network's news and opinion programming. Her boss often invoked Fox in defending Obamacare.
But you don't have to take my word for it. If you talk to somebody who said, well, I don't know, I was watching Fox News and they said this horrible. While good, affordable health care might seem like a fanged threat to the freedom of the American people on Fox News, it turns out it's working pretty well in the real world.
Fox journalists would push back when they were excluded from a media blitz.
These guys, everything is personal. I got to tell you, Bill,
everything.
They are the biggest bunch of crybabies I have dealt with in my 30 years in Washington.
His Justice Department also battled the press, seizing phone records from the AP and Fox's chief Washington correspondent James Rosen in leak investigations, and even branding Rosen a criminal co-conspirator. Sometimes Obama uses the channel to argue that the right and the left prefer sympathetic outlets, but lately his Fox fixation seemed to fade.
Mr. President, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
It's great to be with you.
It's been a while.
Better late than never.
President Obama is entitled to challenge what he views as unfair criticism, but at times he's used Fox as a scapegoat. Now he's handing the reins to Trump, who is way harsher toward the press and has drawn far more negative media coverage than the outgoing president. Just in the past week, Trump has attacked CNN and the New York Times. And as you know, he's sometimes criticized Fox as well. Megan?
Howie, thank you. Joining me now with more, Mark Thiessen, a Fox News contributor, former chief speechwriter to President George W. Bush. Also, Larry Korb. He was the assistant defense secretary under President Reagan. Great to see you both. Oh,
great to see you, Megan.
This is so tiring, so tiring. So President Obama might ask himself, why is it that Fox News is on in all those bars and restaurants that he completely ignores as just apparently lunatics who want to consume false propaganda all day? Maybe it's because it's the most trusted news source for more Americans than any other, and people actually are open-minded and want to hear the issues discussed without a liberal bias. Mark Thiessen, your thoughts?
Absolutely. And, you know, the great irony of this is that he complained about Fox News to Rolling Stone magazine, the people behind the fake UVA rape scandal, which was they were just found guilty of defamation in a federal court. So he went to Rolling Stone to complain about Fox News journalism. Yeah.
And while talking to Rolling Stone, who you just point out is you know, they're king of defamation at the moment, thanks to that judgment. He said this. Listen to what he said to Rolling Stone magazine without any hint of irony. Listen.
If we are not serious about facts and what's true and what's not, then we have problems.
Okay, so he said it a couple days before he talked to Rolling Stone. But apparently he forgot that it was important when he sat down with Rolling Stone.
He said the same thing in Rolling Stone, very similar thing. And look, you know, the fact is, if he doesn't like Fox News' coverage, there's a really simple solution to that. Come on Fox News. I mean, how many times did he sit down with you, Megan, for an interview on the Kelly File? Zero, right? How many times did Hillary Clinton sit down with you for an interview on the Kelly File? Zero. I mean, it's not that scary. Larry is here. You know, it's okay. It's a safe space to do an interview. But he doesn't want to be asked tough questions. He wants to go to Jan Wenner and Rolling Stone and these sycophants out there who affirm him. And the irony is, he complains that we're so segmented, that conservatives only listen to conservatives, liberals only talk to liberals. What, you want to talk to conservatives? Come on Fox News.
What about that, Larry? I mean, why not? Like, Hillary Clinton, they dodged the entire election, and I know why, because they didn't want to, quote, legitimize Fox News, some of her people, and I think she was likely scared to sit down with somebody who's going to ask her hard questions. And look how that worked out for them. Why not speak to the country that watches Fox News, that loves Fox News, and trusts it?
Well, don't forget, Obama has been on, Chris Wallace, he's been on Bill O'Reilly. So it's not, maybe he hasn't been on your show,
please,
but he has
Larry,
been on.
Please.
He has been on Fox, and I looked it up. I mean, he has, you know, he's been on the Today Show, but not Meet the Press. So I think he has. And if you read the Rolling Stone interview, he mentions Fox once in 15 pages, talking about all of the problems.
But he's been doing it for 8 years.
But I understand that he's doing that. But the fact of the matter is, he gave Fox for one reason out of 3 that he blamed for the loss. So he wasn't blaming Fox for the loss. And in fact, I agree with you. You ought to come on all of the networks. You have the largest viewership. When I come on here, I get more emails than all of the other networks that I've been on. Not all of them favorable, but yes, you ought to do that. I mean, you've got to get out and you've got to get to people. But he did say they weren't getting their message. They didn't have a good ground game, and also that people were being
Why do you think they weren't getting your message?
Yeah, well, exactly.
But look, here's the thing. You were going on channels that nobody was watching.
Here's some numbers for Larry.
I think that they didn't get the message because, and I think this is why Nancy Pelosi got challenged by Congressman Ryan, because they're too much the coastal elites, not enough for the folks in the middle of the country who do watch Fox. During the campaign, I spoke to the world.
Gotta go.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Thanks,
Mark. Give you the last word.
Sure. So that interview with Chris Wallace, 28 months since his last Fox News interview. He's been on Fox 9 times since he was elected president. He's been on CNN twice as often. So he is afraid to come on Fox News. And if you cannot complain that you're losing the middle of the country, if you don't come on the network that reaches the middle of the country. They're a coastal elite party that has no people in the middle of the country. Talk to Fox News if you want to reach them.
He just wants to lament that the middle of the country is watching it. Look how that worked out. Great to see you both.
Thanks, Megan.
Also tonight, speaking of the middle of the country, Chip and Joanna Gaines, hosts of one of the most popular shows on HGTV out of Waco, Texas, their show airs, they are now under attack by a big media outlet for where they go to church and what is preached there. Chris Direwalt and Dana Perino are next on that. Plus, major news out of Charlotte, North Carolina, where a police officer has now been cleared of wrongdoing. He will not be charged. And now the protesters are gathering. Wait until you hear what the DA said. We're back in a moment.